Welcome back, everybody. This is Modern Randy. I am Randy, and today I'm back with another Modern deck. We are right now in the midst of the RCQ season for Modern. We did just have the RC for Pioneer. If you want to see how I did, my thoughts on that, there's a video that has come out already. But going back to Modern, getting back into the RCQ season, this is a deck that kind of caught me by surprise. This deck that did well by Dak Faden. He's a popular streamer, popular deck builder on Twitter, on Magic Online, all those type of things. Check him out; he's really cool. But he put together this Vengevine build that really caught my eye, and I'm a sucker for Vengevine. I love the deck. Well, I should say Crabvine is what the deck's really called. I'm a sucker for Crabvine. I really love Vengevine as a card. I think it's very cool and unique. And I kind of want to just go over the deck that he had put together that he did well with. Has won a couple of trophies with this, and kind of been experimenting with the Apparent Oculus. The card is really interesting and different, but just kind of running through this deck real quick, kind of understanding what's going on with it. If you've never played Crabvine or you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Crabvine, the deck got its name from Hedron Crab, where you use the landfall trigger to self-mill, so you're milling yourself the 3 cards every time a land comes into play, and the card Vengevine. So it's a 4 mana, 4/3 haste green creature, and it has whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you cast this turn, you may return Vengevine from your graveyard to the battlefield. So we have a bunch of graveyard type synergies going on where we're self-milling, putting Vengevine into the graveyard to then go ahead and cast 2 other creatures in the same turn and get him back and, attack with a 4/3 haster and do all that kind of like fun jazz stuff. So kind of breaking down the deck, if you will, it's playing 20 lands. The only kind of like unique or different things is it does have 2 Phyrexian Towers, which is kind of cool. A way to kind of like get the creatures back into the graveyard. A way to sacrifice our Titcher Supplier, which is really cool. But going over the Instants and Sorceries, we have 3 Otherworldly Gaze, so we're going to be surveilling. And we have that flashback ability, and then we also have Unearth, which is not something you normally see in these Vengevine or Crabvine type decks. Usually Unearth isn't something you want to be doing because you're trying to cast your creatures, or your creatures come back from the graveyard already without any other things you need to be doing. But Unearth is really here for Psychic Frog and the Oculus, since it's a 5/5 that also gets to manifest in the beginning of our opponent's upkeep. So it's just a super good card there. Super hard to get rid of, being a 5/5, being 3 costed. And it's flying, just, great things there. But to kind of fuel with our Hedron Crab here, we're playing 4 Citrus Suppliers, being able to, to mill 3 cards, and Merfolk Secret Keeper, which we really like. This is a 2-fold card. This was actually a big upgrade for the deck when this card came out forever ago. Being able to self-mill for 4 cards, and then it's also a creature that we get to cast later on. So once we got our Vengevine into the graveyard, we have another creature that we can cheaply cast for 1 blue mana. So just kind of like one of those 2-fold things. It was a really good pickup when that card came out. And of course now we're playing Psychic Frog because the card's amazing. If you haven't cast this card yet, please cast it. You will not regret casting that card. It does so much work, and it basically never dies to damage-based removal for the most part. Not to mention we have a bunch of cards that we want to put into our graveyard anyway. We're playing 4 Bloodghast that we would love to discard. We're playing 4 Vengevine. We're playing 1 Wonder as well. So like we have cards that we already want to throw away into our graveyard, and then with our Unearth, we can pitch a Horbit Oculus, so that way we can pitch our Oculus, Unearth it in the same turn type deal. Just kind of like those nice little synergies. And then we're also playing 4 Souls of the Lost, which additional cost to cast this spell. You discard a card or sacrifice a permanent, and then its power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that +1. So notice that we're playing a whole bunch of permanents. The only non-permanent spells are the Otherworldly Gaze and the Unearths. So it's always going to be a bigger creature as long as we have some kind of graveyard going on. Then, like I said, we're playing for the Oculus. It's a 3/3, it's a 3 costed 5 mana. Oh my gosh, it's a 5 mana 3 costed spell. Has flying, and then this will cost to cast the spell. You have to exile 6 cards from your graveyard. Or, you can just discard it to Florog, grow your frog, unearth it, get around all that fun jazz. Has flying, and then at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you Manifest Dread, which, if you don't know what Manifest Dread is, it's a new ability from the Dustborn set, where you look at the top 2 cards of your library, you put 1 onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other one goes into the graveyard, and you can turn up that 2/2 creature at any time as long as it is a creature for its mana cost. So, we can look at top 2 cards, put a Vengevine into our graveyard, put a Psychic Frog onto the battlefield, pay 2, flip it up, now we have a Psychic Frog, which is much better than a vanilla 2/2. And of course, we're playing 4 Vengevines. I already went over why this card's good, what we're trying to do with it. And then the One of Wonder is here. Never to cast, but just as long as it's in your graveyard and you control an island, which we will. Well, almost always control an island. Creatures you control have flying. So it just makes your deck so much more resilient and so much harder to stop when everything has flying. So, your 5 power Souls of the Lost is now flying over instead of being jump blocked. Your Vengevines are flying over. Your Frog is now flying over without having to eat cards from the graveyard type thing. Just a cool little deck. This is a deck I've always loved playing. This is something I'm definitely going to be trying out. I mean, might even be taking this to an RCQ just because I really like playing Vengevine despite the fact that it has not done well for me over the years. But it's a fun deck. It's really fun to play. Definitely go check out Dak Faden. He does a lot of cool deck designs like this. Like I said, I just happened to see them 5-0 with this in a 5-0 dump. So I was just like, I had to talk about it because this is something that I truly love. Going over his sideboard, it wasn't anything too impressive as a whole, or too crazy. He's playing, whoops, a little further. 4 Force Negations. We have enough blue cards to pitch to. Any of the combo decks are running around, things like that. Just things that we need to stop. 4 Flare Malice there, basically just to stop, planeswalkers and creatures that we need to. Is good against the big Eldrazi decks or like the Through the Breach decks, things like that. 2 Pick Your Poison just to deal with problematic enchantments and artifacts. Same thing with the Haywire Might. And then 3 Leyline of Voyage, which I'm going to just assume for argument's sake is because Living End has kind of been picking up in popularity. So just another card for that. I'm sure there's some other graveyard strategies that I'm 100% forgetting right now that it's also good against. But like I said, just a cool little deck, cool little Crabvine deck that has done well. And I always have to show off Crabvine when it does well because it's also very infrequently when this deck does well. But as always, guys, if you like what you're seeing, you like what I'm doing, go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.